Algebra Word Problems, number 2C. Write an algebraic expression from a word problem. Word problem strategies. Read the problem, underline or circle important words or numbers, make a plan to solve the problem. Figure out which operation you're going to use. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Figure out how you're going to use the information and which variables you're going to use. Use letters that make sense. And make a table or a diagram to decipher the real tough ones when you don't know what to do. Write out the equation, find the solution, plug it in to make sure it's right. All right, we're going to make sure you know what these are. This is a coefficient, that's a variable, and that's a number standing alone. Okay, so the coefficient and the variable. All right, here's our first word problem. Tala is 154 centimeters tall. Suppose she grows h centimeters this next year. Write an expression that tells her height at the end of the year. So we think, if she grew 2 centimeters, what would we write? We'd write, well, she's 154 centimeters now, and if she grew 2 centimeters, we'd write 154 plus 2. So, because she didn't grow 2 centimeters, she grew h centimeters, we're going to write 154 plus h. Wasn't that easy? All right, next one. Bob and 4 friends agree to share the cost of buying several video games. The cost is in N dollars. Write an expression that tells Bob's share. All right, so here's where it gets tricky. Most people would say, oh, it's that amount divided by 4, because there's 4 friends. But what you're not noticing is Bob plus 4 friends makes 5 people. So we think, what would we do if the cost instead of N was $100? What if Bob and 4 friends bought video games that totaled $100? How would you tell what Bob's share is? You would divide that $100 by 5. So because it's not $100, it's N dollars, we're going to divide the N by 5. See? Not bad, huh? All right, next one. A sweater regularly selling for R dollars is on sale for 30% off. Write an expression that tells the savings being offered on the sweater. So we think, what if the sweater was $100? What if this sweater was $100 and it's on sale for 30% off? Now remember, it says what is the savings being offered. It doesn't say what she paid, it says what's the savings. So, if this was a $100 sweater with 30% off, how would we write an expression to show that? Well, we would do $100 times that 30% to find out what it is, right? So the 30% of 100. To write it as a decimal, 30% is 0.30 or 0.3. So we need to multiply this 30% times the $100. But it's not $100, it's R dollars. So we're going to multiply the R times the 30%. We're going to write it as a decimal, so the 30% is a 0.30. So we've got 0.30 R, or we could take away that 0, couldn't we? Because it's just not really important. We could do 0.3 R, all right? When you have a decimal and you have a number like this, you could have as many zeros as you want to the right of the number, and it's still going to be the same as 0.3, because these are just placeholders. 30 hundredths is the same thing as 3/10. It's the same quantity, okay? All right. Emma bought a jacket on sale. She paid 25% less than the original price of X dollars. Write an expression that tells the amount that she paid. Okay, now it's different. Now it's saying, other than the sweater said what was the savings. This is saying what did she pay. So we got to think, what would we do if this jacket was $100 and it had 25% less than the original price of the $100? Well, we would do the 0.25, turning it into a decimal, times the $100, and that gives us the 25% off, right? Then we need to subtract that from the 100 to find out what the cost was, what she paid. So, if this X is taking the place of the $100, then we need to do the 25%, 0.25 times the 100, there it is right there, 0.25 times X, but we need to subtract that from the $100. So we use X again over here, So it would be saying $100 minus 25% times the 100, okay, to get the savings. I know it sounds very confusing, but if you think about this for a second, it'll make sense. This is how we find out what the actual savings is. We have to subtract the savings from the $100, the original amount, and that's going to tell us what she paid. So it'll be an equal sign over here, right? All right? So this tells us the discount. Then we have to subtract the discount from the original amount. So we're using the X for both places, see? All right. If we multiply the square of a number n by 3, then subtract 4 from the product, the difference equals Tala's age. Write an expression that tells Tala's age. All right, think about this. If we multiply the square of a number n by 3, the square of a number gives us n squared, doesn't it? It's the square of a number, n squared. If it says we have to multiply that by 3, we now have 3n squared. Then it says to subtract 4 from the product. So we have to subtract 4 from the product, and that gives us a minus 4. So now we have the 3n squared minus 4. See? We multiply the square of a number by 3, then subtract 4 from that product. See? It worked. All right. Bob describes an algebraic expression. He says, subtract 12 times a number b from twice the square of the number. Write Bob's expression. Okay, so we think. We got to subtract 12 times a number b. That gives us minus 12b. Subtracting 12 times a number b. Well, 12 times b, that puts the 12 and the b next to each other. Subtract puts a minus sign in front of it. And it says from twice the square of that number b. So twice the square of the number b. So b is squared and 2 times it. So now, because we need to subtract 12b, it goes behind the 2b squared. See? It says subtract 12 times the number b from this. So we know this goes second. So that gives us 2b squared minus 12b. Oh, I know this can be confusing. That's why I'm making this playlist. I figure if we slowly go through this, you'll all be professional algebraic expression for word problem writers, right? All right, keep up your spirits. We're going to get through this. If this is still too confusing, try watching it again and see if it makes sense, okay? I know sometimes that's not the greatest answer, but it might help, all right? I'll see you next video. Bye.